Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast. This is the podcast where we have digital discussions, the worlds of pop culture, social media, film, TV, everything. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On Twitter, I go as PD Beats. April 20th, 4 days away, Super Troopers 2 comes out in theaters. And my guest this afternoon is a member of Broken Lizard, the comedy group. And you're going to recognize him as Rabbit in Super Troopers and Super Troopers 2. He's also at Beer Fest and other films as well. Erik Stolhanske is with us. Erik, welcome to Popternative.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No problem. So, Super Troopers 2 finally gets a release date, comes out 4 days. Congrats on that. How's it been kind of getting ready for the release?
As you can hear, I've lost my voice a little bit. We've been doing a lot of touring. Been on the road for about a month. Trying to get the word out there, get people to go see the movie.
And it's one of those things where Super Troopers was, I think, a very fan-driven film and series. I think, and you know, you saw when Broken Lizard did Beer Fest, you know, the popularity was amazing. So I think it goes hand in hand that, you know, you're able to kind of go and tour and meet the fans and do kind of some live stuff from the films as well.
Yeah, no, it's a blast. I sort of compare Broken Lizard to a band, like a rock and roll band. We do live shows, and then our movies are like a CD or putting out a record. Mm-hmm. And then we hit the road to promote it and get to meet the fans. And even Super Troopers 2, we actually made the movie with the fans because we crowdsourced the movie.
Exactly.
Indiegogo.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. So let's get into the movie a little bit. So Super Troopers, the first one, Rabbit is your character. He's a rookie. Super Troopers 2, he's not a rookie anymore. What can fans expect from Rabbit in like the sequel?
Well, in my mind, I'm not the rookie, but in the other guy's mind, since I'm the low man of the totem pole, the running joke is that I'm still the rookie after all these years.
Still getting soap in the coffee, or
I'm getting new hazing that you'll have to come check out and see.
Absolutely. And I always want to, because, you know, we've had a lot of guests from other films like, you know, A Christmas Story and The Sandlot and these quote unquote cult following movies. I wanted your opinion on this because Super Troopers and Beer Fest can be kind of put in that, you know, quote unquote cult following category. What do you personally think about that term? I don't necessarily think it's a bad term or a good term. I just want your opinion on that, like a cult classic. What do you think of that?
Well, I think it's a positive thing because to me it says that means that people kind of discovered the film, possibly not in the theaters, but yet they continue to watch it many years later, which I think to me means that somebody likes the film and they want to keep watching it.
No, absolutely. What are kind of some of the elements that you personally liked about the first Super Troopers that you think hit it off with the fans? Was there some stuff when you were making it where you're like, wow, the fans are really gonna love this, or was it kind of like you didn't really kind of expect all the hype that it was gonna lead to?
Well, I certainly didn't expect any hype out of it. We kind of write jokes that make us laugh. So when we were writing like the powdered sugar scene or the scene when Barbara jumped the burger counter, like that just cracked us up and we loved writing it. You never know if it's going to translate, but I think that fans found that to be as enjoyable as we did when we wrote it.
You know, like the meow and the syrup, like those scenes a lot of people love, but for me, like the powdered sugar scene,
it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And I know we're talking about Super Troopers 2, but Beer Fest is another film that I don't think it's ever gonna go away, right? It's just one of those things. What did you? Who kind of came up with the idea of Beer Fest, like from Broken Lizard? Who was kind of the you know, quote unquote CEO or guy who came up with all the ideas for that movie?
Yeah, when we write a film, it's always very collaborative.
Okay.
Nobody ever sort of like creates or does the majority of the writing. We all do everything together. Mm-hmm. The idea for Beer Fest happened was after we made Super Troopers, Fox sent us to Australia to promote the movie, but the movie hadn't even come out yet and nobody knew who we are. And they kept sending us to malls and tire stores, and they sent us to all these random places to promote. So we they'd ask us to go on stage in uniform, and be like, "Hey guys, we're the Super Troopers." And people would always be like, well, "Who are you guys?" "The Super Troopers. Never heard of you." Then they sent us to this beer garden in the Gold Coast of Australia, and they want us to get on stage and tell everyone to go see our movie. But everyone's having a good time drinking, having a blast, talking to each other. And we're like, God, if we interrupt these people, they're going to kill us. I mean, they're going to tell us to get lost. So we thought it might be fun to go up there and challenge them to a line chug competition. Mm-hmm. And 5 guys from Australia immediately ran up on stage, and we got their attention, and we did a line chug. And then we broke the ice, and we thought it was really fun. So then we thought the idea would be kind of interesting idea, like what if there were 5 guys from the United States and 5 guys from every other country around the world, and there was a secret underground competition to see who's the best beer drinking team in the world.
Wow, no, that is one of my favorite movies. Actually, it's not just beer movies, but one of my favorite movies. When you go to these conventions or when you go on tour, or you do your stand-up comedy, I'm sure a lot of people want to take photos, and I'm sure there's autographs that are being signed as well. What are some of the has anyone ever had you sign something that made you from the movie, like a bottle of maple syrup or even like a bar of soap? Has there been anything wacky that you can kind of share with us about an interaction with a fan that wanted to sign something?
Well, I was with my wife at a restaurant in Florida a couple weeks ago, and I finished my meal and I ordered a cup of coffee afterwards, and the coffee did get delivered with a bar of soap in it.
Oh my God. Oh,
they came out immediately to say, obviously it was a joke, and they brought me a fresh cup of coffee. But even last night, we were at a restaurant in Chicago, and the waiter afterwards came out with shots of syrup. And we thought, oh my God, these guys are bringing us shots of alcohol. But it turned out that they brought shots of syrup and put it on the table for all of us to have. So yeah, we get stuff like that all the time.
So you mentioned, Super Troopers 2 was a movie, made for the fans, quote unquote, like by the fans because of the crowdfunding and everything. Yeah. I understand that it was a lengthy process of kind of funding the movie and making the movie. What can you kind of tell us about your opinion on the whole crowdfunding process? I'm sure it was kind of a difficult process because depending if you reach your goal or not, and then sometimes maybe the funding campaign it's a slow start, and then and you're not sure, but then boom, it kind of skyrockets. What was that whole because that was a unique experience for all of you at Broken Lizard as well.
Yeah, I mean, originally, had we decided to make Super Troopers 2 right after the first one, we probably could have secured funding. Yep. But we had a background in sketch comedy, so we decided to want to try different characters. So we made Club Dread, Beer Fest, Slam and Sam, and then eventually we liked the idea of revisiting Super Troopers 2, but by that time a lot of time had passed. So when we went back to the studio, they said, well, it's a great idea. We'll put it in theaters, but why don't you guys raise the money? And so we went to traditional investors, but because a lot of time had passed, there was sort of a question, are the fans still out there? So it was a little bit hard to secure the money at first. So then we turned to crowdfunding. And we were nervous. We didn't know if we would have that fan base out there. Like you said, it's a cult following, and people have kind of discovered the movie on DVD, but you don't have that immediate sense of, are those fans out there? So we saw Veronica Mars had some success with crowdfunding. So we said, well, why don't we try a crowdfunding campaign? And we were terrified if we'd have that support, but within 24 hours, we'd raised $2 million. And within 30 days, we'd raised $4.6 million. So it showed the studio via the support of 54,000 contributors and fans that audience was still there. So then we were able to raise a little bit more money to finish the film. And here we are 4 days away. It's about to go across the country, across North America.
And we're seeing social media is a big part of that. The fans are able to kind of become, producers of films and shows. And I was talking to a guest recently about this. And, you have streaming services, like Netflix. But Netflix is starting to act like a network, putting out shows and canceling shows, And there was a show that recently didn't get renewed called Everything Sucks. It was like a coming-of-age 90s sitcom, and you're seeing online like hashtag renew everything sucks is like trending and everything, and it just goes to show you that there's been a shift with the power, quote unquote, that the fans have, right, Eric, in the industry.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I mean, we had all that support to show that the movie, people wanted to see the film, and for us it was a lot of fun because you got to create perks that, you interacted with the fans, and a lot of it was like if you see a crowd scene in the film, a lot of that crowd is Indiegogo backers that wanted to come out on set with you. So you'd shoot a scene, then you go have lunch with the fans, and they got to be on set and actually make it with you. And Rob Lowe would be there, and then Rob would come on. I got to meet Rob Lowe in addition to Broken Lizard guys, so it was a lot of fun for them. And then we've been touring the country doing these advanced screenings. We sold advanced screenings, so we did, I think, 12 or 13, maybe more, advanced screenings all over the country. Like we're in a different city every day, and you'd go show the movie, and the people that were the Indiegogo backers got to see it before the public, and then you'd hang out with them afterwards. And yeah, it's just been an incredible experience to make the movie with the fans.
For sure. I gotta ask. I've always found when I saw the movie, I always thought about this, and I'm so happy I get to ask you right now. What up with the Dukes of Hazzard cameo?
Well, after Super Troopers, Warner Bros. Wanted to make sort of a remake of Dukes of Hazzard and make it kind of tough. And Jay and the rest of us always were, big fans of Smokey and the Bandit. So they hired Jay as director, and brought us into some rewrites, and we did some punch-ups on some scenes, and then we just little cameos.
Yeah, because I understand there was an involvement there, but when you see that part with the campus police, it was like, oh wow, this is happening right now.
Yeah, it was just a fun little cameo since Jay was the director.
Absolutely. But do you think it was like that's why I want to know. I knew he directed it, but was that kind of like, okay, was that planned that there was going to be some kind of cameo in there, or did it just kind of spontaneously like happen?
Oh, some sort of spontaneous as we were writing, doing some punch-ups.
And do you think those are kind of the best ideas? The improvisation, the spontaneous, the ones that kind of, I mean, was there stuff in, I don't know if you're even allowed to say this, but in Super Trooper, like, was there anything that was like on the spot created that wasn't kind of pre-scripted, like the bar of soap, the syrup, was anything, or the meow, was there anything that was like made like 15, 20 minutes before like shooting the film, and you're like, okay, we're going to do this, or was it all like pre-planned?
Well, in the first film, I would say it was probably 100% scripted.
Mm-hmm.
We just didn't have any money, time and money. We were shooting on film, and that's expensive. So we do a lot of rehearsing, and we write a lot of drafts. So we had written about at least 30 drafts of Super Troopers. So we craft every joke, and we also rehearse it. So that's sort of our improvisational period. So if we're rehearsing and something comes up, we write it down on paper so that when we're shooting, we only have, oftentimes one take, sometimes 2 or 3 takes when we were making the original movie because we didn't have any money.
Yep.
And, burning film was expensive. Now with digital, you can improvise a little bit more. But back then, burning on film really had to be tight. So everything was scripted to a T in the first movie.
Yeah.
And on the new one, I don't want to give anything away, but there were some scenes that we were able to sort of craft more on the fly, we call it. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily while the camera's rolling, but perhaps the night before. If a funny idea comes up, you could sit down and kind of craft it and write it down and make sure that it's crafted properly in terms of telling the joke. But there were a couple scenes that we wrote more on the fly on the second movie. Very,
very cool. Well, I think we'll wrap up. Eric, thank you so much for joining us on Popturnative. I really appreciate it. Without giving anything away, what could we expect from Super Troopers 2?
Well, you can expect a very heavy drama. We're taking pretty much a left turn on this one, and we decided to get serious. So there'll be a lot of crying in the rain. Mm-hmm. We just wanted to really, get to the heart of who these people are. So it's more a heavy drama than a comedy in this new one.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Super too.
You said that with a straight face, so I wasn't sure if it was.
You were serious? You thought I was serious? No.
Well, no. I mean, it could have maybe
a lot more shenanigans. That's all.
No, maybe it could be a bit more serious. Maybe there could be a character has something intense happening.
No, everyone that's come out of the screenings has basically said it's same tone as the first one, equal to, if not better than the first one. So hopefully you won't be disappointed with sequelitis.
Great. And where can where can people follow you on social media? Where can they follow Broken Lizard? Can you plug away and tell us where we can kind of keep up with all the action?
Yeah, I'd love it if you follow me. I have a Instagram account, Facebook, Twitter, Erik Stolhanske. The name is kind of challenging, but if you Google Erik Stolhanske, it'll help. Just Google Erik Stolhanske and Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and it'll take you right to my account.
Perfect.
All upcoming information about the movie will be on there. Try to stay relevant.
Perfect. Well, this has been Pop Tardive. Go see Super Troopers 2, April 20th, 4 days away. And until next time, this is Erik Stolhanske and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter